Welcome to Biology My Passion. I am Soumya Harikrishna. We are learning the first chapter in chemistry, chemical reactions and equations. In the previous video, we discussed displacement reactions and double displacement reactions. Now we are going to learn about the oxidation reduction reaction, and together it is called a redox reaction. What is meant by oxidation? So oxidation can be defined in terms of oxygen. So if that is the case, oxidation means addition of oxygen. If oxygen is added to something, that is called a oxidation. For example, here copper. To that I am adding oxygen. I am getting copper oxide. So this is an oxidation reaction. But reduction is a reaction in which oxygen is removed. That is, removal of oxygen is reduction. So in terms of oxygen, if we say addition of oxygen is oxidation, removal of oxygen is reduction. Now we can tell in terms of hydrogen also. Removal of hydrogen is oxidation and addition of hydrogen is reduction. So look at this example. Reddish brown copper, when we heat in presence of oxygen, it will turn a black color substance called a copper oxide. But if you want to get back this copper from there, you have to reduce it using hydrogen. So copper oxide, when added to hydrogen or heated in presence of hydrogen, what do you get? Copper and water will be obtained. So here in this case we can write this copper oxide. What is happening to copper oxide? It is losing oxygen. So removal of oxygen is called a reduction. So copper oxide is getting reduced. And what hydrogen will become water. So hydrogen is receiving oxygen, so it is oxidized. Okay, so here what is substance reduced? Reduced is copper oxide. What is the substance oxidized? Oxidized is hydrogen. Okay, is it clear? So when oxygen is losing, reduction, oxygen is gaining, that is oxidation. Now one more thing we have to tell. Here copper is getting reduced. As a result, that oxygen could be given to the hydrogen for it to oxidize. So copper oxide is acting as an agent for oxidizing it. So it is called the oxidizing agent. So the substance which is reduced is the oxidizing agent. The same way, hydrogen is oxidized, but because of that, who had to get reduced? Copper oxide had to get reduced. The substance oxidized will become reducing agent. So usually they will give one example like this, one equation. They will ask you to find out which is reduced, which is oxidized, which is oxidizing agent, which is reducing agent. So first you have to see which is oxidized, which is reduced, depending upon oxygen is available, getting or removed. After that, you can blindly write whatever is oxidized will become the reducing agent, whatever is reduced will become the oxidizing agent. Now we will see a few more examples of oxidation and reduction reaction. If both are occurring in the same reaction, we call it as redox reaction. So the first one is zinc oxide combines with carbon while heating to form zinc and carbon monoxide. So here zinc oxide is getting reduced because here oxygen is losing and zinc oxide is becoming zinc. So what is it? Reduction. So zinc oxide is the oxidizing agent also. The same way carbon is adding oxygen, right? Addition of oxygen is oxidation. So carbon is getting oxidized. So carbon is a reducing agent. Next one, manganese dioxide combines with the hydrochloric acid to form manganese dichloride and water and chlorine. So here manganese dioxide is losing oxygen, so it is undergoing reduction, so it is the oxidizing agent. The same way hydrogen chloride is becoming chlorine, so it is losing hydrogen, so losing hydrogen is also called oxidation, and this is the reducing agent as well. Now coming to hydrogen sulfide and chlorine, hydrogen sulfide is becoming sulfur. So here hydrogen is losing. Losing of hydrogen is called oxidation. So that is the reducing agent. Now chlorine is becoming hydrogen chloride. So here hydrogen is added. Addition of hydrogen is also reduction. So it is the oxidizing agent. So these are the different examples of oxidation reduction reactions or redox reactions. Now we have to discuss the effects of oxidation in our day-to-day life. We are learning two examples, that is, one is the effect of oxidation on metals, how it damages it, and the second is also a damaging effect which is on food items. So let's see one by one. The attacking of the metal by oxygen or effect of oxygen or oxidation on metals is called corrosion. So corrosion is a process by which a metal is attacked or eaten away by the air, that means the oxygen, then moisture, and also certain chemicals like acids present in the atmosphere. So the main example we are all familiar with, that is rusting of iron. We know that if iron is left outside, it will react with the air, but if the air is dry, oxidation is not causing much problem, but if there is moisture in the air, that is adding more effect. So oxygen and moisture are important for a rusting to happen. So in rusting, what happens? Iron combines with oxygen and water. So here the number of water molecules is not fixed, so we use X. So what we get is ferric oxide dot XH2O. Here also X we are using because the number of water molecules present in rust is not fixed. So it is called a hydrated ferric oxide, which is the chemical name of rust. Rust is a brown flaky substance. It will form on the surface of the iron, then it starts flaking off. As a result, the iron article is becoming weaker and weaker. So as a result, crores of rupees we have to spend every year for replacing the damaged parts. We use iron in most of the constructions like buildings, ships, then bridges, and also the vehicles, bodies of vehicles, and iron railings, all this. But lots of money is wasted because of corrosion or rusting. Second metal which is undergoing corrosion is copper. If you expose copper to the oxygen, it will develop a green color coating over it, which is basic copper carbonate. So here you have to know the color, green color, and the substance formed is basic copper carbonate. The same way silver, silver articles if you keep outside, or those who are wearing silver ornaments or especially anklets and all, we know it turns black over a period of time. It is because of the formation of silver sulfide, which is black in color. So these three you should know: rusting of iron, corrosion, and copper carbonate forming or copper turning green color, silver turning into black silver sulfide are examples of corrosion. In one question paper, I saw a question: what are the disadvantages and advantage of corrosion? Mainly it has disadvantages, but corrosion advantage, if asked, we can say that aluminium on corrosion or reacts with oxygen to form an aluminium oxide layer, which will prevent it from further oxidation or corrosion. Now we will move on to rancidity. Rancidity means the food containing fats and oils will develop an unpleasant smell and taste over a period of time. So that is called a rancidity. It is due to exposure to oxygen. So if you prevent a direct contact with the oxygen, we can save the food item from getting rancid. Here, what are the ways to prevent it? First one, add antioxidants. Anti means against. So the substances which will prevent the oxidation are called antioxidants. Example, BHA and BHT. Then next is a packaging using nitrogen gas. We know that when we buy chips packets, it's flushed with some gas. So once you break, you can see that the gas is liberating out. So that gas is nothing but nitrogen, which is an inactive inert gas. So it can preserve the food from or prevent it from oxidation. Next is a refrigeration. When you keep in refrigerator, the temperature is kept low, which will slow down the oxidation process. Then airtight containers is a very common method that we use. Whatever oily substances are there like chips and all, we pack it or we keep it in airtight containers so that air is not getting in contact with it. Then away from light. Keeping away from light also will slow down the process of rancidity. These are all the main concepts that we have to learn in this chapter. If you have understood all the concepts I taught, please like, share and subscribe to my channel Biology My Passion.